The most important thing to remember is that just because someone is a bad person, it doesn't mean they are at fault of breaking the law. It might seem like an obvious predisposition to have, yet this can and often has been a predominant factor that has swayed a jury inside a courtroom. We could use the ongoing trial of Harvey Weinstein as a current example. He is facing multiple counts of sexual assault and rape, which now have to be proven by the state if he is to face charges. What doesn't need proving is that Weinstein is a terrible person. Most in the entertainment industry already saw him as an overbearing, egotistical chauvinist even before the allegations came out, and further testimony has essentially driven the point home beyond assumption. Yet it could be argued that the prosecution have now overused this evidence and have overreached in their strategy to attack the character of the defendant. This could allow the defense to create a counter-narrative, being that Weinstein had become an easy target for false accusations due to the ugly nature of his character, and that a snowball effect essentially created a witch hunt aimed at a highly unlikable yet ultimately innocent person. This isn't necessarily the approach the defense will adapt, yet demonstrates how the miscorrelation between immorality and criminality have dire consequences for the state. This not only applies to what takes place inside the courtroom, but also to what transpires long beforehand. And this is the reason criminal investigators are taught not to get emotionally invested in a case, as their own biases can affect best practice. An accurate example could be the interview of Christianne Allison, whose husband Clayton was suspected of murdering their 15-month-old daughter. He was alone at home with the toddler while Christianne was out for work, and was allegedly in the bathroom unclogging the toilet when his wife returned home to make a gruesome discovery. She found her daughter lying unconscious at the bottom of the stairs and was completely unresponsive. Christianne screamed, then immediately called 911, and the toddler was flown by helicopter to a hospital in Anchorage, where doctors found blood around her brain, a bruised lung, and 2 dislocated vertebrae. The girl died that night. Her cause of death was declared as traumatic brain injury, which her father stated was caused by falling down the stairs. Yet Alaska state troopers discovered the stairs were carpeted, thus couldn't have caused the fatal trauma. And the fact they were guarded with a baby gate made it even less plausible. He became the prime suspect when the autopsy report came in, but was not immediately arrested. They first decided to call in his wife Christianne to see if she would cooperate by getting him to either admit his guilt or at least garner some sort of damning testimony to use against him.
We're at a point in the investigation where either you're on the side of Jocelyn or you're on the side of Clayton.
Don't say that.
That's where we are.
You're putting yourself...
I'm putting myself where?
You're putting yourself in a position saying that you automatically want me to be angry with you. So don't do that, please. Because I want to be cooperative, I want to be helpful, but do not make a woman stand between her husband and her daughter.
Well, you have to choose.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I can just as equally love my daughter and believe that it was an...
Was it carpet is like water in the source engine? Okay. I mean, it does dampen the fucking hits, so it could make it less likely that someone got like serious brain injury from just like hitting soft carpet.
An accident.
Okay, well, it's not it's a homicide.
Know that this was ruled a homicide according to the evidence that they had.
It's ruled a homicide based on the injuries that your child had. She went from this, to this. She has bruises all over her head.
The investigator has just thrust a photo of the mother's deceased daughter right in front of her face. Christianne was being questioned as a witness, not a suspect. She hadn't been read her Miranda warning, and the purpose of the interview wasn't to elicit signs of guilt, only to collect a statement and to discuss possible cooperation. What the detective has just done is a technique used to gauge a person's response, especially if the photographs being presented are of a gruesome nature. The sharp manner in which the images are presented is done so a suspect is caught off guard, and this is thought to make it harder for them to fabricate emotion in a convincing manner. It's an effective interrogative technique, yet most often exclusively used on suspects due to its traumatic nature. Christianne was not a suspect, therefore her response to the photographs were of no use to the investigation. It's a rookie mistake from the detective, as this has now destroyed the possibility of rapport development, and this segment of the interrogation was also used by her husband's defense to portray a corrupt and negligent police department.
Okay. This is all bruising, okay? It's not from tumbling down carpeted stairs, okay? Here's the autopsy photos. watch the autopsy photos. Some of the autopsy photos. Here's your baby.
Bro, are you fucking insane, dude? Are you out of your fucking mind? You're just gonna like be completely unacceptable. Like barely acceptable to do it with like someone who you kind of suspect is the person. Preposterous. Like, oh hey, what's up, young mom? Here's your dead baby. Okay, sick.
Okay, this is trauma. This is trauma. This is your baby's brain.
You know what else is trauma? What the mom has right now, because you just forcibly fucking made her watch some shit that she definitely did not want to see, that she is not benefiting from seeing at all, dude. Holy crap, what a psycho.
Not necessarily a tumble, like motion down the stairs.
This is all trauma. This is all trauma.
Which isn't caused by her bumping into things, because there's nothing on the skull.
You know that a lot of the JCS videos are actually copyright claimed by detectives that were portrayed negatively by him. You can see a list of his deleted videos and they're copyrighted by detectives. Shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
Okay, this is all trauma. You need to know
that
this.
That shows her face. Can you please not show me that one?
CJ.
Or at least don't show me her face mutilated like that. This
is reality. This is you're gonna have to look at this, because your baby was murdered. I'm asking you to help us. We need an answer.
I am willing to answer any question you want me to answer. Honestly, I don't know what you expect of me. I don't know if you expect me to walk in this door for you to tell me that, for me to break down crying and say, oh, it's all a farce. I've been completely truthful to you this entire time. I'm going to be completely truthful to you.
For the record, for what it's worth, I don't believe that the cops have rights to this footage. I'm pretty sure this is a matter of public record, and you can't fucking copyright shit like that.
The rest of the whole thing, the way that this goes, and I'm being completely cooperative, and I always have been.
This goes back to what was stated earlier about the miscorrelation between guilt and immorality. Christianne appears unusually composed and articulate considering the circumstances. This could of course be due to shock or voluntary detachment as a means of coping, but also due to the possibility that she is unaffected over the tragic death of her own daughter, which could bring one to assume that she may not have been a loving mother. This may be frowned upon, yet does not mean she is being untruthful in any way, nor guilty of any wrongdoing in the eyes of the law. In fact, the manner of her response, being composed yet assertive, could be argued as the disposition of someone with nothing to hide. She comes across as annoyed at the way she is being treated, yet is not anxious or concerned in any way.
Okay, well here's what we want you to do.
So ask your questions and I'll give you your answer.
Here's what we want you to do. Okay? We want you to make a phone call to Clayton, and we want you to let us record it. That's what we want you to do.
And what am I supposed to do in this phone call?
You're gonna talk to him. Okay? You're gonna say, if ruled it a homicide, you were the last one with Jocelyn. What happened? They're telling me she didn't get the injuries from falling down the stairs. What happened?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I think it's because the UK copyright laws are probably different. This part of the video is probably available, but the second part might have gotten copyrighted. Just like the fucking Prince Andrew video was taken off. That doesn't make sense though, because there was hella Prince Andrew videos out there. They didn't all get copyrighted. Aiden, bruv, I'm not talking shy about the fucking UK governor. We're gonna watch a fucking UK murder later, all right? Second half of this, bruv, is a fucking UK murder in it.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask you why.
Because I am the type of person that would feel like I was lying to my husband if I didn't automatically say,
don't worry, Aiden. Aiden, don't fucking worry, Aiden. It's coming home, all right? It's coming home, governor. It's coming fucking home. Like the Euros. We're going to be fucking doing the second half of this video is going to be about a fucking UK bruv murder. Don't worry, it's coming home.
If you let me say that, I'll do that just fine.
Well, he's not going to talk on a recorded line. He's not going to tell you the truth. He hasn't told you the truth now.
I'm a truthful person, and that's deceitful to me, and I won't do that to my husband.
It's not deceitful. This is
It's
where you have to.
deceptive.
This is where you have to.
Deceptive, and
Okay,
I won't
and you
do
want
it.
answers? Do you want answers? Do you want to know if Clayton did this?
Yeah, I do, and I'm going to ask him.
I'm here to see how cooperative you are, and you're not.
The detective now insinuates that suspicions of the witness are now developing, potentially for the purpose of making her anxious, and thus more prone to being cooperative.
I am cooperative. I'm telling you a legitimate reason. I will not be deceptive to my spouse.
I'm telling you that your child did not die from falling down the stairs.
And do you think that if you were in my position and you
I would wanna
100% didn't believe
I
that,
would want to know.
that you would do this?
100%? You saw the pictures of your baby's head.
100%.
You saw the pictures
don't
of your
believe
child's
it. And
head.
I 100% don't believe it.
Body language readings can never be given full credibility, yet Christianne's motions are textbook of a truthful subject. She has a forward-leaning posture, maintains eye contact, and her hands are pointing directly at the interrogator while she makes her assertion. She is not
I love whenever JCS says, what I'm about to say is hokum, pseudoscience, but I'm going to say it anyway. He really has a way with delivering pseudoscientific nonsense that I truly appreciate.
seeking approval, only trying to get her message across in a direct manner.
When Jocelyn went in for the emergency surgery, they opened up her skull, and the dura was very tense, and of course it was bulging, and it popped. You know, like what do you call those? The poppy dose things. So it was. There was so much trauma there.
Yeah, I remember the surgeon described it to me beautifully.
More unnecessary graphic detail given to a witness. This was once again used by Clayton's defense team during his trial.
So if I don't agree to this, what do you do?
This is what is known as making the video as shitty as possible in an effort to see if people are still watching technique. Oftentimes utilized by those who do true crime videos. The technique makes it so hard to watch a video that it's no longer 1880p. It's not even 144p. It's just a dark sequence of shadows.
Well, but if you don't agree to it, you don't agree to it. And the only thing left is we go and we talk to Clayton.
Well, that's probably where we're at, because I'm just going to be flat honest with you. Even if I 100% believe that he done it, which I don't, I still couldn't do that.
Okay.
To me, there is deceitful and there is not deceitful, and that is deceptive to me, and I cannot do that to my husband. I can't.
Let me just be blunt. With you, because that's all right.
The detective now repeats her strategy of trying to induce anxiety. It once again fails, and Christianne displays all the signs of a truthful subject.
Do you have any part? Did you ever shake Jocelyn?
No.
Did you ever throw her in your bed out of frustration?
No.
Okay. What's your part in this? What's your part in Jocelyn's death?
Nothing. Except for not being there.
What's your obligation to Jocelyn now?
To love her and remember her.
That's your only obligation?
Find out what happened.
Okay. To love her, isn't that to find out what happened to her?
That's what I just said, to know.
Such a good cop, dude. It's crazy.
And to love her and to find out what happened.
Okay.
Which is what I've been trying to do this whole time.
I expected a reaction from you. I expected you to go, oh my God, what? Cry. I did. I expected you to be, oh my God.
I know.
Yeah.
But I don't.
This is what is known as admitting that you fucked up technique. It's only reserved for some of the most some of the most important moments, okay, where you just, sorry, I apologize. Fuck, I'm so hot. It's used in unique circumstances where the cop is completely fucked up and decides there's no reason in hiding it anymore. Just like there's no reason to hide this ad break because everybody knows it's coming. That's why every time I get closer to the top of the hour, like the actual top of the hour, chatters lose their mind and start doing Pogo Tomato time. Yes, top of the fucking hour is here. Yes, it's a 60-second ad break. Yes, you can avoid those ads if you subscribe or if you use an ad blocker or a VPN. Yes, subscriptions are either free with a Twitch Prime or $5. These are all facts. Here's the ad break now. Here's the video.
I can't afford myself that luxury.
Why not?
Because what you say is too
I'm
important.
so hot. I'm going to fucking die. Oh my God.
Words are too important.
Words are absolutely important.
And so I'm controlling every word that I say, or at least attempting to. That is my goal here. And it will not change until I walk out of that door.
Okay.
When I walk out of that door, I'll probably fall apart.
Well,
But right now, I'm being a politician.
I'm shocked. I'll tell you, I'm shocked. I can't believe as a mother, after everything that I've presented in front of you, you can say he didn't do this. You can say he didn't do this. Let me ask you straight out, did you love Jocelyn?
Yeah, I loved her more than anything in the world, and I still do.
More than anything in the world. More than anything.
Yeah.
But you won't. You're a smart lady. I've given you
I'm
everything.
a smart lady.
I've given you everything, and you said you don't even believe you. 0%. You don't. There's not even
I'm
an ounce of doubt in you.
I'm not
Don't
saying
tell me. Don't tell me that you
I'm not
loved your
saying there's
baby
not
with
an ounce of doubt.
beyond.
I'm not saying there's not an
Beyond
ounce of doubt. I'm saying I don't believe what you're telling me 0% because I'm not going to say that I do. I'm not saying that I don't doubt things. I doubt lots of things.
As a mother,
I doubt lots
more than the world
of things.
Okay, you guys were right.
Howdy, partner.
One of the fucking JCS videos was literally removed by the dude. Fucking Jim Stewart! Pogo Tomato time, Jim Stewart!
let me use your
That
words.
doesn't mean that I'm
More
going to
than the world.
agree with
More
what
than
you're
the
telling
world.
me now.
You love Jocelyn more than you loved your own life, right?
Yeah.
My God, that's what I would do for my kid. You love Jocelyn more than you love your own life, more than you love anything, above anything else on God's green earth. You
Yeah.
love Jocelyn.
Whether it be an instance of getting emotionally invested or an overzealous attempt at building a case, the investigator aggressively refutes the witness claims that she
You know who would never do that? Jim Smith, by the way. Like, never in a million years. Because he's never looked bad in an interrogation. He would never do a copyright takedown.
loves her daughter due to the fact that she refuses to conspire against her husband. Logical thinking could bring one to assume that Christianne is telling the truth. She has just lost her daughter, something most mothers would indeed love more than anything in the world, yet her daughter is now gone, and her husband is essentially all she has left. Christianne had come from an abusive background. She has no family apart from her husband and his family. He is her main support system, and someone to share and divide grief with, regardless of any potential culpability. It's an abstract and even disturbing thought to try and contemplate, yet her behavior in this moment is not that uncommon. Even though she had doubts about her husband, she still loved him, and the tragic nature of her circumstances could even amplify this feeling. She may have also been in the first stage of grief, being shock and denial.
I've presented experts, evidence experts, and you're telling me he didn't do it. You didn't love Jocelyn.
Do you just absorb everything that everyone says to you as 100% truth?
No, I take it in.
You take it with a grain of salt, and that is what I'm doing. I don't believe anything until I've thought about it, I've prayed about it, and I've come to my decision. Because life is too short for rash decisions.
It was too short for Jocelyn.
Yeah,
it was only 15 months.
it was hella too short.
It was only 15 months, and her own father, at the hands of her own father, shook her to death. And by God, her...
I wonder at what point does it change from doing an interrogation to just like abusing a grieving mother? You know what I mean?
Mother doesn't want to know the truth.
Me.
Her mother doesn't want to know the truth.
Yes, I do. And don't you dare say that I don't.
Make the phone call.
I'll make the phone call if I can tell him it's being recorded. There's a big difference between wanting to know the truth when you believe you can get it, 100%. Like I said before, you make every decision in life based on your decisions, based on your beliefs, based on the knowledge you have in front of you.
And you're being contradictory.
This is the knowledge I have in front of me. No, I am not.
You are being contradictory.
I have not contradicted myself yet. I have said this is where I stand on it, and I'm not changing my mind.
Yeah, but then you fluctuated between whether you believe him, you believe him, you believe him. He said she fell down the stairs. I'm just going to believe that. I'm just going to believe that. I've presented experts that said...
So how have I fluctuated?
That this hasn't happened.
How have I fluctuated?
Because you've said you wanted to know. Because you've said
I do
that you're
want
a blunt,
to know,
honest
and
person.
I will know. I will find out. I have no fear of that. I don't have to make a phone call in your office on a recorded line to find that out for myself.
Black and white. He lied. This man that you trusted, that you would never be deceitful, thought that you weren't worth it enough to be honest with you.
Bro, at this point, even if she's the murderer, or even if the husband is the murderer, she's doing such a terrible job that there is zero chance that she's going to arrive at the truth. Like, she's just completely fucking shut off. Why would she ever collaborate with you?
To tell you what happened to your child, who you love more than the world. He lied. That means nothing to you. Your husband was deceitful.
This will do nothing to help her. I am smart enough to know that my daughter is not coming back from the dead.
Christianne now starts to compartmentalize the situation to justify her standing. If she was a suspect, this could be used to argue that she knows her argument is dubious. Yet, as earlier stated, her refusal to conspire against her spouse is not illegal. It also seems like she is trying to convince herself that she is doing the right thing, more so than she is trying to convince the interrogators.
There is nothing on this earth that is going to help her. It'll help me. It'll help how I feel. It'll help you. It'll help how you feel. It'll help him and whatever happens to him, whatever the truth is, and whatever all that bunch of stuff. But it's not going to help her. There's nothing on this earth that can help her.
It's a greater good. It's a greater
good my ass.
It's a greater good.
Greater good my ass.
Don't you have an obligation?
No.
You don't have an obligation.
I have an obligation to be a citizen, to tell the truth, which I have done, to be cooperative without being deceitful, which I have done.
We can't make you do it. We're not going to make you do it.
Obviously.
It's just really kind of upsetting and disturbing to me personally to see this kind of reaction and justification and reluctance to kind of have an open mind about what happened. It's really upsetting and disturbing to me.
You don't even want to know what happened to Jocelyn. I'm showing you a picture of what happened to Jocelyn.
If I showed you that picture of your child, would you want
I'd
that
be on
picture
the
embedded
phone.
in your mind for
I'd
the rest
be
of
on
your
the
life?
phone.
Would you want to face that picture in your
I'd
dreams?
be on the phone.
Would you want to face it at night every day?
I would.
You know how hard it is for me to face it at night? The way she looked laying in the hospital bed in one piece?
I would.
Do you know what that's like, looking at your child that way?
I would.
You don't. When have you looked at your child looking like that?
I haven't.
So you don't know. So don't accuse me of not wanting to look at the picture because I don't want to know the truth. I don't want to look at the picture because I don't want to see that picture every time I go to sleep.
That's what
regardless of what happened to her.
You.
Regardless of what happened to her, I don't.
At this point, it's like the cop just got murdered.
Months, I have
mean,
finally delivered our baby to the world. I hope you.
I said she's just cornered the fucking cop.
I will name him Ben after my hero Ben Shapiro. Please grow him to become.
Holy
a promising
shit!
leader
What
for
the
our
fuck
great
does she?
nation.
I bet she doesn't even get like paid leave because of this. She's no suspension, probably a promotion.
Want that picture in my head,
and
there is nothing wrong with that.
Your husband deceived you. He
mean,
makes love to you knowing that he did this to Jocelyn.
What
That's
the fuck?
deceit.
This is just a picture. This is just a picture that was taken of something that your husband did. This is just a piece of paper with color on it. You can be mad at us for a picture.
No, I can be mad at you for choosing to show me a picture I don't want to see and accusing me of not wanting to know the truth because I won't look at it. It's a very different thing.
But you're not mad at Clayton for causing that.
Dude, what is this fucking Reddit debate lord energy right now? Like, this is one of the most psychotic interrogations I've ever seen in my entire life, dude. They're just like, the worst part is like, she's not even a suspect. Like, she's literally a witness. Like, they want her to give they're trying to coerce testimony out of her that will corroborate the opinions that they have on this matter. It's fucking insane. It's so crazy, dude. This is actually wild.
That damage to your child.
You'd want to see that picture of your child, whether you believe you would know or not. If you believe that you would know and you didn't want to see that picture, you'd want to see it?
I'd ask to go to the autopsy. I'd ask to do that. That's me, because I have to know, because I'm black and white. Okay?
Well, it's not your child laying on that table.
I need to know. Okay?
It's not your child laying on that table.
I've had children in the hospital. I've had children.
You've never had a child die. You can't imagine it.
You're absolutely right. I cannot imagine it.
So don't tell me how you would be, because I can tell you what. I've run through this scenario 100 times in my head before she died, and you have no fucking idea.
We're asking you to help us. We're asking you.
Wait, why? That's kind of crazy.
To help us.
You're asking me to help you with something that could only help you and possibly me if you believe that I'm going to deceive myself.
You want to seek the truth. You said you want to know the truth.
I do, and I'm going to find it regardless of whether I make that phone call or not. And I have enough faith to believe that you can find it regardless of whether I make you that phone call.
We know.
It may be the best way.
We believe we know
what happened.
Fine. We believe
then
we know
what
happened.
Then my phone call may assist you in making it easier. It's not going to change the truth.
What Christianne and even the investigators were unaware of was that Clayton had already been called into that same police station during the course of this interview. A separate investigation team had decided to conduct their own interrogation before making an arrest, which was so that Christianne couldn't alert her husband to their suspicions when she arrived home. Clayton initially denied wrongdoing, but later told investigators he had been slapping his daughter because she refused to eat, and that the slapping became harder over a period of time, turning into strikes, but not because he was angry with his daughter, only because he couldn't get her to eat otherwise. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder that same day. In 2015, he was convicted of his daughter's murder and rendered a life sentence. He spent 4.5 years in prison before his conviction was overturned by the Court of Appeals in
Wait, what? I'm so did I misunderstand what just happened?
The slapping became harder over Clayton had already been called into that same police station during the course of this interview. A separate investigation team had decided to conduct their own interrogation before making an arrest, which was so that Christianne couldn't alert her husband to their suspicions when she arrived home. Clayton initially denied wrongdoing, but later told investigators he had been slapping his daughter because she refused to eat, and that the slapping became harder over a period of time, turning into strikes, but not because he was angry with his daughter, only only because he couldn't get her to eat otherwise. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder that same day. In 2015, he was convicted of his daughter's murder and rendered a life sentence. He spent 4.5 years in prison before his conviction was overturned by the Court of Appeals in 2019. He is currently released on bail awaiting his next trial. A primary focus of his appeals process was the incompetence and negligence of the Wasilla Police Department.
There it is.
On February 15th of 1993,
and now we get to the main fucking course, dude.
The northern city of Liverpool, England, would bear witness to one of the most shocking and horrific cases in its history.
Police on Merseyside say that 2-year-old James Bulger, who disappeared from a shopping precinct at the weekend, was horribly murdered and then dumped on a railway line. They say that someone must know the identity of the 2 boys who took James from the precinct.
Inch by inch, the police have searched the railway line where 2-year-old James Bulger's body was found yesterday. The scene is still protected from the elements for forensic work. The body itself was removed late last night. His uncle had identified him. It had been spotted earlier by 4 schoolboys.
Wait, what the fuck? There was a genetic condition? What? Evidence of genetic condition leads to overturned murder conviction? The first time my knees ever started creaking in the cold as I walked up the stairs, I was 8 years old. Allison says I was in elementary school. That was the first time at which I started experiencing nightly severe pain.
9 months.
Allison was diagnosed with type 3 Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a genetic condition that affects connective tissue. However, the diagnosis arrived too late for the Allisons. My husband was arrested in November 2008, a couple days before I got the diagnosis. The cause of death was blunt force trauma. Prosecutors argued Jocelyn died of abuse from her father, but the Allisons maintained that she fell down paddle stairs and hit a chair, an injury that wouldn't normally kill a child, but CJ Allison says their daughter wasn't normal. When my daughter was born, she appeared normal at first, but after 4 to 6 months, she started showing signs of something very serious. Allison believed Jocelyn suffered from the same condition her mother was in the process of getting tested when she died. When they tried to submit CJ's diagnosis as evidence, the judge forbade it from being mentioned when Jocelyn was never diagnosed, and CJ's was a rule-out diagnosis. Oh my God. Wait, but he admitted to beating her, though. What the fuck? Wait, did JCS fuck this one up? Maybe that's why they took this video down? Or was it like a... Maybe he confessed because of cop manipulation. False confessions are not uncommon. Yeah. So he really is like, oh yeah, I beat her, but I didn't kill her. Cops can get you to admit to anything. Let's be real. He didn't admit it. He just admitted to hitting her. Okay, but then what the fuck? JCS kind of made it seem as though like he literally beat her to death with his bare hands. Right? Am I crazy? That was kind of implied, right? No? Okay, I misunderstood. Like, damn, y'all are fucking JCS simps, dude. They didn't mention the condition at all. Well, this is new information, so he probably didn't know. I'm trying to figure out why. I'm trying to figure out why they took the video down. This could be part of the reason. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep watching.
Is playing. The blurred images of 2 youths seen taking James away are now all over the city. The public say detectives hold the key to finding them. They believe James was killed locally, then his abandoned body was hit by a train.
We know it is a murder inquiry. There's not, as we'd first hoped, we were going to find James and return him to his parents. It is horrific what has taken place, and there must somewhere be somebody who will know the identity of the 2 boys who were seen with James.
James's blue and mustard hood, seen here in a security video, has now been recovered. It had been missing from his clothing but was found nearby. Police have set up a temporary base in the shopping centre. They're warning parents that other children could be vulnerable.
For goodness sake, keep tight hold of your children. Poor James only went missing from his mother for a matter of seconds, and he'd gone and disappeared.
It was a warning heeded as parents picked up their children from school.
I've said to him that if he doesn't hold my hands, then, you know, an naughty man's going to take him and all that.
It's on your own doorstep, isn't it? I mean, I come strand every day with my kids. Of course, it's frightened everybody.
The shadow of this murder is hanging heavily over Liverpool. As flowers built up around the scene, James's family have spent the day being counselled by specially trained officers.
Murder conviction overturned for Wasilla man charged with killing 15-month-old daughter. White also threw out a 2009 admission of abuse from Allison, finding it coerced. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God, dude. The appeals court found that Standard wrongly placed the burden of proof on Allison to prove his innocence. Additionally, barring evidence that might have cast doubt on Allison's guilt, restricted his ability to defend himself, the appeals court said in its opinion. Evidence that there were other possible medical explanations for excessive bleeding was something that the jury should have heard.
Hassle.
This is a quote from the appeal. Shortly before trial, the state filed a motion for a protective order seeking to exclude any mention of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome at trial. The state argued that the mother's diagnosis was inherently suspect because the mother had obtained the diagnosis after J.A.'s death. The state also viewed the diagnosis as too speculative. What the fuck? It's a genetic disease. Who gives a shit? If they're like already saying that like the daughter, there's something wrong with the daughter, there's something wrong with the daughter, as fucking parents would know. And then they find out that that's crazy. No info. No. This is not criticism of JCS. He didn't know this shit. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about the court case. Like I'm talking about the judge's decision to deny any mention of EDS